Welcome to Hope is Here. My name is Greg Horn, and we are wrapping up a week with my cousin and friend, Traci Hutcherson. We've been just celebrating moms as Mother's Day is this weekend. And we've been talking about her precious mom, Wanda, who went to be with the Lord back in September of 2009. And we've talked about things that God's taught her as the mother of five, and as a wife and having a career. She has a really awesome blog called beneathmyheart.net that you ought to check out. Man, it can really help you if you love to decorate and just love to be creative with things around your home. She's got a real gift that you should check out her blog, beneathmyheart.net. But yesterday, it's a program, we started talking about one of her children, Jonathan, her oldest, and he was born with some hearing challenges, but God just as miraculously, he wound up having a music gift and participating in the 10th season of The Voice. So if you missed any of these first four programs, go to our website, hopeishere.today. You can check that out, and they're only 14 minutes long. And while you're doing laundry, we learned that. Traci multitask, and you got a family of 7. You do lots of laundry, so she likes to listen to podcasts. So go check those out at hopeishere.today. But yesterday, when we concluded, Traci, you shared that the doctor said that he had a 50% hearing loss. Yes. He was going to have to get hearing aids, but they also, said, hey, we want to be brutally honest with you. Hope this won't happen, but sometimes they continue to lose their hearing, and he might be, hearing impaired for possibly completely.
Yes, they did, and it was a very scary time, and it was one of those things that you just had to take a day at a time. And with Jonathan, and he didn't really know what all was going on, except that we started putting this little weird thing on the back of his ears. That was all he knew, because life was the same for him. He was able to hear better, so he did like that, but he did have to deal with some of the challenges of kids always looking at the back of his ear and asking him what it was. And but the thing that we try to do the most with Jonathan is just not treat him any different. I didn't. I think sometimes when our kids have difficulties, we want to make it easy for them or protect them too much sometimes. And I didn't want to do that with Jonathan. If he'd say, well, Mom, I can't hear, well, I'll be like, well, then you need to figure it out. What do we need to do? I'm not going to baby you, because this is real life. One day you're not going to be in the house with me one day, and I won't be able to make things easy for you. So I think that has a lot to do with just Jonathan's grit that he's had in life to kind of overcome circumstances and not make excuses and not say, oh, well, I never let him use his hearing loss as an excuse. I never did, because it just means we just need to figure out a different way to do it. So that's something that I've always tried to instill in him. And since we're kind of talking about mothers and Mother's Day, as you were doing the intro, I was thinking about my mom. And one thing I do want to say with her, and I think it's an encouragement to other moms, is that my mom was always a dreamer. And she was more of a dreamer than most women in her generation, honestly. And I always, when people ask me about my mom, when I think of my mom, I think of, she's kind of a seize the day, a carpe diem kind of mom. Because whenever I dreamt about something, like, Mom, I kind of wanted it, she'd say, well, do it. Traci, do it, because you may never get the chance again. And you maybe it won't work out, but you'll never know. And she was just this dreamer. She was always supporting my dreams. And I think it's funny, as I was thinking about the dreams I've had with my blog and the different directions it's taken me. I think the reason I have been successful at it is because Mom gave me that attitude of like, well, because I could have been like, oh, I can't start a blog. Nobody's going to read it. What if they think I'm stupid? But Mom was like, you're never going to know unless you try. And I think that I've tried to incorporate that with my kids and Jonathan, and all of my kids have different abilities. Jonathan is this gifted singer. He's a gifted musician. My other boys, they have different gifts, and I have to figure out where those are. Luke is extremely gifted in technology and video, wants to do digital he's just really found his niche. He's a sophomore this year, and he's just flying. And it's kind of like Jonathan with his music. I just see Luke's hit his sweet spot, and each of our kids, it takes them a while to figure out where that sweet spot is. I think I might be trying to figure out where mine is still, Greg.
Me too.
I know, but as parents, we just have to, say, okay, yeah, let's get behind that dream. Let's see what happens. If it doesn't work out. And so we've done something a little not traditional with Jonathan. He's a senior at West Jessamine High School, but ever since he was on The Voice, he's been homeschooled, and he's actually living in Nashville right now and will be home in a couple weeks to graduate and walk for his graduation ceremony. So we've done things a little bit out of the box. But I know you wanted to talk about The Voice a little bit. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit.
I'd like to, I think people, so many people watch it. I've got so many friends do, and I have, and yet, tell us what that's like behind the scenes and all that.
So around the age of 15, Jonathan started kind of getting that itch to maybe try out for something. Up until that point, he had mostly sang in church and little events here and there, but the American Idol was always a big deal. He always said he was going to try out for that. And then The Voice came in and just swept over everything. And it's such an amazing show. So he wanted to try out for The Voice. I'm like, are you kidding me? Come on, kid. We're just a kid from Kentucky. But what my mom taught me was like, you know what, baby? Let's dream. Who cares? So we went up to Chicago and we tried out. We auditioned, and he actually didn't make it. That was for season 9. And again, I want to say as a mom, it's okay for our kids to fail, because that's where the lessons are. I hate to say it, but sometimes I kind of like it when my kids fail, because that's real life. That is real life. Life is not, you got to lose sometimes, and that builds character, and it's biblical, right? It's going to build character and strength and endurance, and I love those lessons, because that's when I get to pour into my kids. And so when we went up to Chicago and he didn't get that call back, I'm like, Jonathan, what other 15-year-old stands in front of all these people and gets up there? You're like, man, that's awesome. Celebrate that. And guess what? We don't always win, but that does not decrease your value as a person. It does not mean that God doesn't have another greater plan for you. That does not mean that God's not going to use this gift he's given you. This is just a bump in the road, so I love sometimes when my kids fail, or when I have to, when things don't go their way, because I know lessons are being learned and it's going to make them better on the other end. So long story short, a couple of months later, he got a call from one of the executive producers of The Voice, because they really liked Jonathan, and they told him that he may be getting a call, but then we didn't get a call for that initial audition. They asked him to come back to Nashville for season 10. And actually, funny for Kentuckians, season 9 was when Jordan Smith, the Kentuckian Jordan Smith, won.
Oh, yeah.
So we're kind of glad we weren't on that.
Yeah.
He was amazing. We're kind of happy we didn't make that season. So anyway, they called him back, asked him to audition for season 10. They called him down for a private audition in Nashville. Long story short, he made that cut. He went to LA for 2 weeks for another cut where they brought in about 300 people for 2 weeks, and you go through all kinds of like psychological testing. You go through, they make you take a test. You have to meet with a psychologist, because they got to make sure you're going to be able to handle the pressures of this show, and that you got the what you need. And some kids didn't pass it and didn't make it further than that. And then so you go down for 2 weeks to LA. If you make it past that cut, they take about 100 people from that. And then we went to LA again in October for 4 weeks. And during those 4 weeks, it's solely to prepare for the live audition in front of the judges. So you go to LA for 4 weeks, but you still, at this point, you've gone through 3 or 4 auditions. You still don't know if you're going to make it on the show. And they tell you in these 4 weeks that if you don't, you still may not make it on the show. So we go down there. I was blessed to be there with him. I was so thankful for that experience, because he was only 16 years old. And it was an incredible experience. I cannot say enough about that show. If you love it from on one side of the screen, I'm telling you, it is amazing show. People were like, I cannot believe you're letting your kid go to LA and be on The Voice. Like, he's going to be, introduced or see things. No. It was amazing. That show is so high quality. It is the staff. They had 11 o'clock curfew. You weren't allowed to say dirty things or use bad language around the minors. You were no drinking. There was they were because some of these people were in their 30s, 40s. There's no age limit. So they were very clear of what the behavior, and it was very professionalism. They were very professional. There were several people kicked off, and they made them leave because their behavior was not becoming. So it's a very good show. And once you're there for 4 weeks, that 4 weeks, you're basically training for your live audition. So that was super fun. He got to do hair and makeup and practice and vocal coaches, and you're treated like a celebrity. Jonathan loved it. It's a fun experience. However, you still don't know if you're going to make it on that stage. So the final day of auditions, We are waiting. There were 4 days of audition. Jonathan didn't go till the 4th day. And by the 4th day, teams are getting full. And it was later in the day. So we're like, wow, there might be one seat left. And Jonathan may not ever even get on stage. And there was probably about, out of the 100 people that stayed those 4 weeks, there was a good 20 people that never even got to make it on the stage because the teams filled up before they got a chance. But the producers have to have an excess amount in case, because I will say the judges, Adam, Blake, our season was Pharrell and Christina. They really, the producers don't know who they're going to turn for. That is genuine. Once they do make it, their teams are full, then the producers have a little say of who goes further in the show. There is a little bit of play, but the producers have to have an excess amount of people auditioning because they truly don't know if the judges are going to turn around for those people. So when Jonathan went up first, the stage, my whole family, we were all backstage. It was crazy. I'm crazy nervous, and my little 16-year-old son gets up there with his hearing aids in front of Blake Shelton and Adam Levine and Christina Aguilera and Pharrell, thank you. And we did not know how many seats were left. We know now that there was 2 seats left, one on Pharrell and one on Christina. Blake and Adam were full. But we did not know that, and Jonathan got up there and sang his little heart out. He did amazing, and Pharrell turned around for him, and he was the last seat on Pharrell's team. So we went bonkers, and it was an amazing experience. So that was in October, and we actually came home. Couldn't tell anybody. You can't tell anybody what's going on. People knew something was up, but most of my friends thought it was American Idol because they're like, why did you and Jonathan go somewhere? But we couldn't say anything. And we had to keep a secret all the way until it aired in March.
Oh, wow.
But in February, the end of January or February, a month and a half later, they flew us out for 2 weeks for the battle rounds. And so that was another time of vocal lessons, preparing, hair and makeup, all that kind of stuff. And that's when Jonathan got to work one-on-one with Pharrell. P. Diddy was the advisor for Pharrell that year.
Wow.
So we got to meet P. Diddy, although Jonathan didn't really know who P. Diddy was. So he kind of tried to act surprised when he walked in there. But that was an amazing experience. He grew so much as a person, as vocally. It just poured gasoline on the fire of Jonathan's music. And he didn't make it past the battle rounds. He lost the battle rounds. But we have zero regrets for doing that show. It was just fun from beginning to end. And it's only been 2 years, but Jonathan would be like, Mom, don't you wish we could just go back just for a little bit? I'm like,
absolutely. Because
we shared a room. He had to share a room with his mama.
Yeah.
But
16.
He was 16, but it was sweet. It was good memories. We laughed because we would always get a little glass cup with ice from the vending, from the little ice maker. And every night we would have shows we'd watch on TV because one of the things that they don't let you leave the hotel. So you're sequestered to the hotel for a month. You can't go anywhere because they don't want people to know who's made it through and who hasn't. And so you would have to sign up for a Target run on a certain day, and you had 30 minutes. They would drop you off at Target in a van with a group of people, and you had 30 minutes to go into Target and get back to the hotel. Crazy stuff like that, but so sweet memories. And even now, Jonathan has is living in Nashville now, and is songwriting with some of the people from The Voice that were on that season, doing performances with them, and just opened up so many doors. Amazing experience.
Well, we rejoice with you in that. We went in this
you.
week on a positive note.
Yeah.
So check out Jonathan Hutcherson's music. You'll be blessed by that. Traci Hutcherson's been my guest this week. It's been great to have her.
Thank you.
Check out her blog, beneathmyheart.net. You'll be really blessed by that. We wish Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. God bless you, and we'll see you next time on Hope is Here.
CMI is your full-service human resources provider in Central Kentucky. For 15 years, CMI Human Resources has taken great pride in helping organizations and people work. Whether it's employee handbooks or help in filling a position, no job is too large or too small for CMI. Contact the professionals today at CMI Human Resources, 859-296-2800, or online at cmiconsulting.com.